Hey guys, I'm back again with the Granada War. Today we're talking about the 15th century Granada War, not the U.S. invasion of Granada. When you look it up, it shows up the Wikipedia page of the United States invasion of Granada. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the 15th century invasion of Granada. Type in Granada War, Spain. That'll get you it. Because this is in Spain. So, let's begin. Granada was always a weak country. They taxed their civilians so high that they were extremely unpopular. Then they had Christians inside of their Muslim emirate. So you can kind of imagine what's going on there. As well, they were only able to survive because Christian kingdoms on the Iberian Peninsula were fighting each other. But when Castle and Aragon, Ferdinand for Aragon and Isabel for Castle, got married, they were able to create Spain, and the fighting stopped. So this was when Granada really just had its nail into the coffin. Even before this marriage, the dotted line shows what they used to have. Then over the time, Christian in kingdoms took it over. But this is how it all started. There was a raid in the town of Zahara, which they took over the town. Zahara is right here, by the way. But they took over the town, and the population that were Christian were enslaved. As you can imagine how it went, this was used as justification, and war broke out. And during that time, a power shift in 1485, all the Gaul seized power. As well, in 1485, Ronda fell in 15 days in a siege. And soon afterwards, the naval base of Granada at Marabella, right here, fell as well. This was very bad for Granada, but not as bad as when their main port, right here, fell to castle forces in 1482. The Granadans tried to relieve the city, but they had to scrap the plan. And people inside the city supported the besiegers outside, since the besiegers were Christian and a lot of people inside the city were Christian. And Granada was very unpopular. Their citizens did not like the government. The siege, though, lasted for 4 months because the troops inside defended the city fiercely. But on the 18th of August, 1487, they surrendered. After the fall of Malagala, Christian forces besieged Baza, which fell 6 months later. And in 1490, the country of Granada was pushed to Granada. And it held out for 8 months. But the thing that made it turn around and actually was able to crush the Granada itself, the city, not country, was because of the new firearms. So guns were invented in China, but they were very bad. So they had like this bamboo stick which they would put, the gunpowder and the ball, but it would be needed to be carried by two people. Then they would like cannon style, they would have a thing in the back which they would light it, and it was kind of like a cannon. Then it would fire, but it was very inaccurate. It took two men to carry, and it just wasn't very effective. But when you put in a large number, though, it was very effective because the chances of hitting something with like 1,000 of them was very effective. And that's how the Chinese rebellion used them to push the Mongols out of China. So, fast forward to now, those firearms have reached Europe, but they've made a few innovations in it. They're way more accurate, and they invented the trigger so that it is easily held by one person and can be fired by one person. This was a changing point. The Grenadans only had crossbows. The Europeans had guns, and these guns could penetrate their armor, when really the Grenadans, crossbows and arrows, even though they could penetrate parts of the armor, could not get past the heaviest parts of the armor. So this was very effective in the smashing of Granada. But as you think, why is this important in history? Why is this the topic we speak of today? Because this pushed the Muslims out of Spain, and since Castle and Aragon met, they formed Spain. And Spain wanted an empire. They were a newly formed nation which just pushed the Muslims out. And they wanted especially Indian gold and spices. You know where I'm heading right now? Christopher Columbus was actually in Granada when Granada fell. He watched the victory parade with Ferdinand and Isabel. And since they finally freed up Spain, and Portugal was very friendly, by friendly I mean they weren't going to go into war with them right now. So if that was the status with them, they would call them friendly. So they had money to spare, so they funded Christopher Columbus's mission, and that discovered America, and that caused the Spanish to have one of the largest empires on the planet at the time, owning from the American Southwest all the way down to the ends of Chile. So this event might seem little in contrast to, let's say, World War II or even the American Revolution. But sometimes historical events have sort of a domino effect. So this is why the Granada War was important, and I brought this topic to you today. Thank you.